The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
This is Haymaker Combat Sports. Here, coming straight from the source. Only with the real, they ain't here to dress it up. Sweet science, MMA, you can get it all from us. Trust, 5 stars cause it's live. And through the fight game, we can guide ya. Slick talking, putting them in caution. Passing all the goals cause the audio is awesome. What you waiting for? Spread the word, tell a friend. This the podcast where all of the discussion ends. When they start going strike for strike, this the show that'll tell you what you seen in the fight. They ain't playing on the mic, this a welcome to the show. Warm it up for the squad, Haymaker of the bros. I'm about wow, you can hear it from the pros. It's Haymaker Combat Sports, time to roll.
Welcome to Haymaker Combat Sports, powered by Belly Up Sports Media Network. I'm your host, EJ Reed, joined by my fellow hosts, Aaron Admire, Steve Johnson. What's good, fellas?
Happy Tuesday, back at it.
What's up, Steve?
Same here, man. Starting to get used to the cold weather.
Yeah, how's it faring out there in Kansas City, Admire?
Man, it was cold as shit yesterday, man. I don't know if you guys got it like that, but we're back to the 60s today. I think back to the 70s this week, coming up weekend, but last couple of days it was cold, man. Like, I think, what was it, Sunday? The high was like 28 or some shit.
Yeah, it was bad. Monday I had to go to the office. I can't remember how bad it was Sunday. I don't know how much what I did on Sunday, but I came back from St. Louis on Saturday, so I think I just stayed inside basically all Sunday. But Monday I had to go out in the cold, had to wrap up, and it was colder than a witch's titty out there. But it's supposed to be warm this weekend though, right? I know, at least around here.
Yep, set back in the 70s this weekend, so I'm going to get these leaves out of my yard and put on some Christmas lights and maybe put something on the smoker.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. And you got any plans this weekend, Steve, besides work?
Watched a little bit of fight night that was passed, but nothing too much.
Oh, this past weekend. I didn't even know it was a fight night this past weekend. Who fought on it? I knew it, but I just didn't care. Wasn't it Bonfim that fought?
Randy Brown against forgot the other dude he fought.
It was in the Apex, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Who won?
The other dude, they say it's controversial, but he got kneed and he fell backwards and he hit the canvas and it seemed like it woke him back up, but the ref called it as soon as he fell.
Yeah, Bonfim versus Brown. Oh, so it was in the second round. So Bonfim won. It says by TKO. You said it was controversial?
Yeah. It looked like he could still move, but the ref stopped it. But it looked like as soon as the back of his head hit the canvas, he woke back up from the first shot.
Oh man, I might have to go back and watch this. Looks like all finishes on the main card. CLD kicked it off. I remember you mentioned CLD in the past. I don't know if you're still up high on him, Steve.
Who again?
Christian Leroy Duncan.
I gotta see who fighting.
Yeah, it's the British guy. He was getting it. He had a lot of hype coming in at UFC.
What's his name again?
Christian Leroy CLD. Christian Leroy Duncan.
I have to see his fight again.
Yeah, he looks like he got a knockout this past weekend. So, if I got some extra time, I'll go back and watch it. But got a lot of fights to watch this weekend. But before we get into that, we always kick these preview shows with news stories inside or outside of the cage, and the story kind of broke out like right after we did the recap for the last show. We got a betting scandal going on in UFC, and it made national news. It's been confirmed by multiple outlets, and I think it came from the Uncrowned. They're saying Yahoo uh, said IC360, UFC's betting integrity partner, alerted UFC hours before the Isaac Dolgarian fight uh, against Yadrir Del Val that who was the underdog, was drawing plenty of betting action with the first round prop bets. And when they alerted that, they immediately, I think they were giving back money. How extensive did you do your research on this topic, Admire?
Just a little bit. It's not the first time this has actually come up though. Um, it kind of like blew over, but I don't know if you guys remember November 2022. This happened like the same thing with James Krause in like his camp. Uh, James Krause, the UFC fighter from Kansas City, he had a gym here, and one of his fighters, there were suspicious betting patterns on his fighters, and nothing really ever happened to him. He got kicked, kind of removed, and his fighters from his camp weren't allowed to fight. But yeah, this is blowing up, and it's not just UFC that it kind of happened to this week. It's happening in baseball as well. Like there's a big, crackdown on this, throwing the bets going on.
What happened in baseball?
So it happened to two Cleveland Guardians pitchers. One of the prop bets was the first pitch of the seventh inning is going to be a ball. So the pitchers threw the ball to straight down in the dirt, so the batter wouldn't even swing at it to make sure that it was a ball. But the crazy thing about that is one of them was Clase, one of the best pitchers in the league. Dude was set to make over $100 million in his career, and he took $5,000 to do it. He took a $5,000 bribe to fucking throw a ball, and he's facing
That's it?
65 years in prison. Like, I didn't know that fucking up people's bets and like throwing shit was such a federal. I mean, I knew it was a federal offense, but they're talking 65 years for rigging bets. Like, he's looking at 65 years in prison and threw away $100 million in career earnings for $5,000. So somebody did the math. What he was basically making on his current contract was he was making $7,000 a pitch. So he basically made less for throwing that pitch, trying to help a better. So a lot of people are like, man, maybe they threatened his family. Maybe something else was going on. Maybe he was in debt. I don't know, but that's what happened with the baseball thing. Like they threw the ball in the dirt.
That's crazy. I guess like you said, that was just stupid. As much money he's about to make, he did it for $5,000. Are they just like trying to throw their friends or business partner a bone or something? I don't understand. Like that seems like high risk, low reward in that situation.
It is high risk, low reward, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know how deep it goes, but I mean, from the prop bets that I've ever gambled on, you can only bet so much on a prop bet as well. So it's not like you're getting crazy money. But if it's part of a parlay, or a five-legger, you could throw it in there. So the baseball and the gambling sites have already done something about it. Like, there's a $200 max on those type of bets now. So if you want to bet on a ball or a strike being thrown, first pitch of the inning, $200 cap already. They've already fixed that going forward.
I wonder what's the most pricey one that somebody's done on like just a pitching bet.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And what's funny is one of them, one of the pitchers that got caught, they tried throwing a ball way outside, and some guy actually did end up swinging at it, and it was a strike, so it fucked up somebody's bet when he was trying to purposely throw a ball.
That's crazy. The floodgates are now open now that sports betting is legal in a whole bunch of states. When is Missouri supposed to go live again?
December 1st is when Missouri goes live. And I was actually talking to my dad about it the other day. My dad, he does a lot of reading and research just on everything. He's retired. And he was telling me about all the ways that sports is rigged. he said that a lot of the mafia stuff, they still do rigged sports. They will get a hold of a lot of college kids and they will bribe them and, get them to throw the game, you know, have them mess up kicks, field goals, have them mess up passes. They will find out who's injured, just little things. And he said it happens everywhere.
That's crazy that the mob is still a thing in the year of our Lord 2025. I mean, I know like it never died, but like when you think of it, you think of like Goodfellas, Godfather. You don't really think of the modern mob, but the NBA story broke out with Chauncey
I was just
Billups.
gonna say, yeah, the NBA just happened too. Like all this is coming out now, but nobody can be surprised. Like if you turn on any sports game right now, like my phone just buzzed literally. The St. Louis Blues game, the hockey game is on right now. If you turn it on, I guarantee you on the ticker or on the advertisements, there's some betting site advertising. With all the gambling that's going on in the world today, you're gonna have people trying to beat the system and trying to make the money. So they can't be surprised, but they're gonna be cracking down on it because just like the movie Casino, casinos ain't gonna put up with people scamming shit and taking their money.
Uh, what were your first thoughts, Steve, when this story first broke out?
I was thinking of the similarities of the odds that every sport and other sports that we haven't really heard of yet, like the NFL. But first of them was here in NBA. Certain coaches and players, I think, even got arrested. Now it's coming down the UFC mostly UFC fight. So I don't know. I say time will tell to see how deep this goes. But yeah, I was hearing even let's say on a channel they were saying that even one they were previously notified, but the urgency to stop it or whatever wasn't there. So it's like maybe UFC's halfway in trouble too.
So with the guy who just got busted, it looked like he tapped pretty quickly. So everybody think now that retroactively hindsight is always 2020, people are gonna go back and try to look at some other fights and be like, oh, this looks a little fishy. Like this guy basically gave up and
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
think they will. And, I don't know if you guys heard, but one of the things that's really been thrown out there is they were talking about referee Jason Herzog's fights, that sometimes he stops them way early. And there's a lot, there's controversy around a lot of his stoppages. Some of them, it was like he stopped the fight when there was really no reason to. And it was like, oh, he played it looked like they were out. So I think they will go back and look at them. And then I messaged you. I can't remember what fight it was. It seems like there was a fight within the last couple months. Somebody got taken down, and it looked like they just didn't even try. Wasn't there even an Anthony Smith fight within the last couple years where like he just didn't even look like he was in it? I'm not saying he was throwing the fight. Maybe he just really wasn't in it. But it seems like there's been quite a few fights where people just weren't in it. Were they throwing it for the bets?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, Pandora's box have kind of been open now. So
And if I mean, and it goes back to the fight or pay thing too. If a mafia guy's looking for a prelim guy that's making $5,000 a fight, and the mafia guy stands to make good money, he could throw that prelim guy $10,000 or $20,000 to throw a fight. The kid's gonna make more money throwing a fight than actually winning. So why wouldn't he?
that's a good point. It makes sense for the UFC because, like you said, a lot of fighters, let's say John Jones, McGregor, Habib, even though he's retired, or Islam, or top fighter champion, you're not going to get paid that much. So, that's more of it's a high risk, high reward. Like if you get caught, of course you're fucked. But if you don't, if you actually win and hit, like you're getting paid a lot more than what the UFC's paying you. What I don't understand is like the other sports, like you said, baseball, when there's no salary cap, and why are they doing that in baseball and basketball? Football, you got some of the old linemen that don't get paid that much, but still, like if you get caught, like you said, I didn't know the penalty was that severe as well. I thought they would ban you. I didn't know the criminal side of things where you get locked up for 65 years.
Yeah, up to 65 years. I mean, so that's really high risk. And then the other thing I seen was, uh, I think it was Derek Lewis that once said that the fights were scripted. So now it's kind of like, oh shit, what if?
We know Derek Lewis likes to troll though.
Yeah, but I mean, now it kind of makes you think, what if?
That's crazy. 65. That's like Max B numbers. Max B got 75 years. Shout out to Max B. He just got out of prison, but that's crazy. So
Yeah, you can get more for, more years for throwing a fucking fight than killing somebody. Like, you would get less years for just killing them.
they don't play around with this sports betting, but uh, the only thing though is like of course it was illegal betting back in the day. I guess we probably could like start looking at the time period where the legal betting started going and looking so more at the fights. Like you said, it was illegal betting, but now that you can legally bet, like I'm curious to see how many people would like try to get up with their friends and be like, all right, do this and that, put this amount of money on there. I mean, Vegas has always been legal, so I guess you can go back and look at a lot of the previous fights. I don't know, man. This is like, things are gonna get weird. But like, how do you think they're gonna crack down and like try to curtail this, Admire?
Oh, I mean, can they really? I mean, if you get caught because it looks like you didn't try. I mean, people are just going to have to get better at acting. Like, if you want to throw a fight, make it look like you're defending a little better, or drop your hands a little more. I don't know. I mean, if you want to throw a fight, you're just going to have to make it look a little better. I mean, I don't think there's any way for them to stop it. Um, or the other way to stop it is, they're going to have to make an example out of somebody. They're going to have to throw the book. They're going to have to give somebody that 65 years, and that's going to really scare the shit out of somebody, I would think. Um,
That's a waste.
that's about it. I mean, other than that, there's nothing really to stop it. I mean, if they're threatening people's lives, saying, "Hey, throw this fight, or I'm going to kidnap your family," they're probably going to do it.
That's a waste of taxpayers' money, giving somebody 65 years in prison over that. But like I said, when there's big money involved, you never know how they'll throw the book at you. But what do you think, Steve? How they could actually try to curtail some of this stuff?
Yeah, somebody's gonna have to be the scapegoat as far as them cracking down penalty. I think 65 years that'll scare out anybody, but I mean, I think even 10 years, 15 years would scare. And I think it depends how severe or how much money was generated and who was behind the bet to, be the, so to speak, the one who started it all. Uh, we were speaking of bouts we could remember, and I remember one fight that I can possibly popped in my head. And what was it? Yeah, y'all said Derek Lewis, and I remember Derek Lewis and Francis Ngannou,
Oh yeah,
and that was a weird fight. So, I mean, they would have to check back the source of a bet of past fights, and then overlook the fight to see if the so to speak, the rumor, if it or the bet was to see if it matches up with the footage, and then I think that's probably how they're gonna see how everything connects.
yeah.
So
Go
I
ahead.
went back and I pulled the story on the James Krause one.
Uh
So
huh.
just to refresh you on what happened with this back in 2022. So James Krause was a coach, and one of his students, Derek Miner, had a fight on a UFC fight night. And hours before the fight, his student, Derek Miner, became a huge underdog. Like the odds started moving right before the fight, and a lot of money started rolling in. People started just betting on this Derek Miner hours before the fight. And during the fight, um, I guess it was obvious that this Miner had a leg injury, and he kept using the injured leg to throw a kick. And then eventually uh, he got finished by TKO shortly after. Like, it was obvious that he was fighting with an injury. And then what they found out was James Krause had a Discord like we're on for like betting and like an MMA Discord and betting advice and stuff like that. He never got in trouble for it. He got suspended as a coach, and basically, like I said, his gym wasn't allowed to be in the UFC. He ended up having to sell his MMA gym, but he never got in trouble for it. I guess they could never prove anything all the way.
Huh. What happened to the actual fighter?
I don't know if he ever, let's see if he's had any fights since then. Yeah, that was his last fight in the UFC, and his next fight was in Dynasty Combat Sports in Nebraska. So I'm guessing he was cut from the UFC.
Talk about downgrade. So, is James Krause like totally out of the MMA game now?
He pops up on my Facebook feed for some reason. I guess just because he's local. He's a realtor now. He flips houses.
Yeah, I mean that's lucrative business if you got the right connections and whatnot. So, guess he's back on his feet. I feel like he had like a bunch of fighters at his gym. Wasn't Laura Senko fighting out of James Krause's gym?
He had Tim Elliott and quite a few of those. He used to run around with Jason High.
Was it Anthony
Jason
Smith?
High bounced between UFC, Bellator, and Strikeforce and all them.
Was Anthony Smith training with those guys?
He might have. It was, what was that, his gym called? I think it was Glory MMA. Yeah, it was Glory MMA here in Kansas City.
Huh. Well, I don't know. But what did Dana White have to say anything about this in particular?
He did at the time. I can't remember exactly what he said, but Dana White was pissed about that situation. And Dana White was the first one to say that James Krause, his camp, and his people from his gym not allowed to fight in the UFC going forward, and then it became like an official suspension thing.
What about this most recent scandal? Has Dana White said anything, Ambar?
I don't think he has. I don't think I've heard any comment on it.
We were talking a little bit before the show. What's going on with Dana White and his betting situation going on?
Netflix, it hasn't been officially announced, but everybody has heard it. Apparently, Dana White and Netflix are doing a high-stakes gambling documentary on him. For those that don't know, Dana White is a high-stakes gambler. He likes the blackjack, and he gets a private room at a lot of the casinos in Las Vegas, and they raise the table limits for him. He likes to play, $30,000, $100,000, $300,000 a hand blackjack. His strategy is, win 2 or 3 hands, get up, $500,000, $1 million, and burn out on them. He's been banned by multiple casinos out there because that's what he does. The casinos don't like it when you take their money and run. He's smart about it. He don't sit there like a lot of people and, gamble a lot of his money away. He's, he doesn't get drunk. He's there to make money. He gets the money in and out. So, yeah, documentary coming from Netflix apparently on Dana White's gambling.
How much you think?
Weird timing.
Yeah, exactly. How much you think he's actually made?
Just from the TikToks that I've seen, I mean, I wouldn't be able to guess, but I've seen a few TikToks where he's like, yeah, won $1 million last night. Yep, won $3 million the other night over at this casino. So, I mean, he does pretty well, it sounds like, but, a lot of these people don't ever tell you how much they lose.
Exactly.
He seems real disciplined with it. Like, he doesn't seem like the type of guy that's going to go more than $1 million down in one night. Like, if he loses a few hands, he seems like he's done. Like, he's not going to keep chasing it.
I don't know. I feel like this documentary is gonna glorify the side of things where you got just disposable money like Dana White, where you can just hit it big. But like you said, they're not gonna show all the hands that he's losing. If I would say, I would probably say, at the end of the day, unless you're like a professional poker player, I feel like everything pretty much balances out. Like, you have bad nights and you have good nights. But like you said, it seems like he's smart about it. So maybe he's made a few million off of it. He's in a surplus, but you never know. I mean,
I just I don't understand why people that are that rich gamble anyway. So I'm just gonna search his net worth real quick. But like it says here, Dana White's worth 500 million. Like, me when I go gambling, I want to win $1,000. Like that's a big deal to me. I want to win $1,000 extra, so maybe I can go buy a bunch of new shit that I don't need. Maybe a new iPad, maybe a new, outfit, shoes, whatever. But somebody who's got $500 million, like, why the fuck do you need to go win another $1 million? Like, what's that mean to you? Like,
greed.
that's nothing. You know what I mean? But it's crazy that there's, we're literally talking about a lot of these people who are millionaires that are throwing the games to win more money. John Daly, the golfer, won millions and millions of dollars in his career, and he gambled it all away. Michael Jordan, how many millions did he have? And he had to step away from basketball for a little bit. We know that's why. He had to retire for a little bit. Like, it's crazy to me that people have that much money and they want to gamble it. Like, I would have no reason to gamble if I had that much money. I wouldn't be chasing it.
Exactly. I don't know. Like you said, he's just probably just bored for the most part, and he does it because he can. Steve, you think Data has like a gambling problem?
For sure. I mean, I can see it. It's probably almost like I saw this show once about an OCD. She couldn't just she had to touch the doorknob just right. Maybe that has to do with gambling too. Just has to do one more bet or a certain amount of money. And plus, probably a lot of these rich people when they gamble, they probably gamble off a passive income budget or something. And then if they get too greedy, they probably start dabbling into actual bait. But I say that's what they're doing. They have a steady income to gamble. I would say if they're smart, and probably they have enough money that passively comes in to bet that much all the time.
Yeah, I mean, $500 million. He doesn't need to bet, but he just does it for the thrill of it. Because how much did he make?
Game, I guess.
Yeah, I can't remember how much he made off of when they sold it to when the Fertitas sold it to Endeavor. He made a buttload. I think they reported him making like 100 million or something off that deal because he had like a 10% stake in it and whatnot. So he's just doing it for the hell of it at this point. Got fuck you money, so it is what it is, I guess. But BJ Penn, Admire, what's going on in his world right now?
Not a lot of good in BJ Penn's world. The other day, I think it was November 5th, BJ Penn arrested for the sixth time this year, charged with assault. Um, yeah, continues to have problems. This time he assaulted somebody again. He was arrested. Uh, he's had some problems recently this year. He keeps saying that, people are impersonating his family, that his family members have been replaced by imposters. I'm no doctor, I'm I'm just speculating here, but to me, man, it's CTE. Has CTE written all over it. He's just not all there in his head. Um, 6 arrests in 1 year, and saying things like that. I mean, he needs a mental evaluation. He needs help. His family needs to get him help. We've always been told that BJ Penn's family, was pretty wealthy and stuff like that. Like, get him some help, man. Like, he's gonna end up really hurting somebody or himself.
Jeez. And what was it when he got arrested? What was he saying?
He's been claiming all year that like something's happened to his family, and people are impersonating his family members. Like, people are trying to steal from his family, and people are impersonating his family.
Jeez.
That's what he's claiming.
And
They're imposters.
that was the reason he got arrested?
No, it just says that he assaulted somebody.
Oh.
That's what he keeps telling the cops. Like he's attacking family members because he thinks they're fake.
Oh, this is bad. What are your thoughts on this, Steve?
Yeah, we all witnessed his on his way out, let alone his long career and on his way out as far as retirement from the UFC or any, as far as we know, any contact in combat sport. But this probably isn't including the times we didn't see, let alone the time we did see post retirement and get knocked out at the bar. So how many times have you been in physical fights and damaged more as far as brain damage? I think it's a accumulation of all that. I think I remember last time I did see him get knocked out was at a bar. He supposedly woke up and got revenge on the dude, but ain't no telling how many times he got hit in the head after post retirement.
So these family members that he's assaulting, is he actually hurting them like pretty badly? Because he's still a trained professional fighter. He can still destroy any regular person, probably.
This time it doesn't exactly say if this was a family member. It says officers responded to a report of assault at 1 a.m. the previous day. The 45-year-old victim accused Penn of punching him and kicking him multiple times. The victim sought medical attention for these injuries related to the assault.
Yeah. He's definitely going through some mental health issues, probably set by CT, like you said. But sad thing about it is, the only way they were able to study his brain is if he passes away. That's the way CT works. So,
Right. But a normal person, somebody sane in their mind, doesn't get arrested 6 times in a year. Somebody that has a sane mind. This is exactly what he told the police right here. Investigate these frauds who are trying to steal everything from my family and who are impersonating my family. He calls them imposters. He believes that imposters have replaced his family members. That's crazy person talk.
yeah, something ain't right. We saw the wars he used to get into when he was in his prime, and what was he, close to 50 now? He's getting up there in age, and like I've mentioned before in previous shows, we still don't really know the effects of MMA in fighters' older years because the sport is so new. We've seen it now with Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell's pretty punchy. BJ Penn, and there may be a few other dudes. Like, we don't know how Rampage is gonna look or sound in the next 10 years or so. He's another out there guy. I'm curious to see like how these fighters age, because boxing was been around since the 1800s, so we know the effects of that, and we saw Muhammad Ali and a lot of these guys messed up afterwards. And Frazier, he was in bad shape too, and who knows? I don't know if they linked boxing with Ali's Parkinson, but that probably had something to do with it. And
I'd say it had to.
yeah, so yeah, I don't know, man. BJ Penn needs to get some help. Is he still in jail right now?
No, I said he bailed out.
What if to play devil's advocate? What if it's just him just being, like you said, a rich kid that just has like a bad attitude and just does it just because he can?
I don't know, man. That would be kind of extreme if he's just doing it to do it. But it's also he's doing it to his family. Like, that seems a little extreme. If you're a professional fighter and you're beating the shit out of your own family, like, that's a little wild.
I don't know. You said this past one though. You wasn't sure if it was his family or not, right?
Yeah, this past one I don't know if it's for sure. Yeah, you never know. And this last one, it says his bail was only $1,000. That ain't much of a bail for anything, really.
It was only 1,000.
Only $1,000. Says he bailed himself out.
So it's probably because isn't it like you're supposed to do? You got to do like 10%. So it was probably like what 10,000, and he paid like 10%, 1,000 on it probably. That'd be crazy if it was 1,000 and then he only had to pay 100 for it. But I don't know. Was this back in Hawaii? This was in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
They said like like you said, they say his family runs like a lot of that island. So I don't know if he'll learn from this. We might hear him get arrested in a few weeks. He might. He said six. He might get arrested 7 or 8 times by the time the year's over.
Yeah, there's plenty of time. I mean, a lot of people like to give John Jones shit, but I think BJ Penn's got the record for most arrests out of any current or former UFC fighters.
Oh yeah, I think he's got John Jones beat. Well, let's hope he gets the help that he needs. But fellas, let's get into this card that's going down this weekend. The annual MSG card going down in New York, New York. UFC 322 going down on Saturday. And this has been, they basically shifted the international fight weekend, like you know how hyped that was in previous years. It shifted it basically this decade to this MSG card, but I don't know how much hype has been around this so far. What's like the buzz level on this, Admire?
Nothing. I have not seen one advertisement, one commercial, nothing on the TikTok. I've actually been on YouTube for like the past few hours just watching videos. Nothing on my algorithm, no ads, nothing. This is very under the radar.
Huh. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, not too much I've seen myself.
Yeah,
Like
that's.
you said, you be scrolling, might see ads on YouTube or something, but I haven't for real seen it.
I don't know, man. I don't want to. I don't want to go too far off the rails, but I don't know, man. TKO might have a problem, man, because ticket sales have been going down in WWE. The UFC's prices have been astronomical. I don't know how their attendance is looking. Uh, and then they're putting on this card just because they figure people will buy just because this is MSG. I don't know. I don't know what you could do to get the star power up. We've talked about this time and time again. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you don't think the UFC might be in trouble, Admire?
I don't know. My first thought was maybe they're just like kind of mailing it in, like they just don't give a fuck. They're just trying to get through the end of the year so they can, switch that Paramount deal
Yeah.
after the first of the year and just kind of just do a big transition and just, kind of redo the landscape of everything. Just kind of change their whole model. Just they're just trying to get through the end of this year. That's what it kind of feels like to me.
Yeah. Uh, you think that too, Steve?
Yeah, which is the whole, purpose of the Paramount deal they have. Uh, Probably just trying to get through the year, because that was the whole point of transitioning to the new, blueprint. Uh, like you said, if the tickets went down and everything, I think they just want to get push these cards out, push these contracts they have to meet with, and boom, start over new with the new module next year.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, but like you said, y'all might be right in, so I'd be mailing it in. But even with the CBS, I mean, with the CBS era, allegedly they're not going to charge anymore for pay per views, but it's going to be driven off of ratings. So CBS is going to want their money's worth. They're going to be pissed if they're like, y'all just throwing on any type of bullshit, and we got to pay y'all this astronomical amount of money. So we'll see. I'll be curious to see how everything goes in this Viacom CBS era. So stay tuned. Let's get into this card and the early prelims. Let's going down to ESPN Plus and UFC Fight Pass. We got Vaishlev Borchev versus Matthias Camilo. We got Vysangar Susakov versus Eric McConniko. Women's strawweight Angela Hill ran her head again against Fatima Klein. Featherweight division, we got Pat Sabatini versus Chep Marshall, and middleweight, to cap this one off, we got Kyle Dawkins versus Gerald Mershot. Will y'all be tuning in for these early prelims?
I'll try. I always say I'll try, but I'm really gonna try. I always like Angela Hill. I like watching her fight. She's one of my favorites, so definitely gonna try to tune in to watch her.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, no one too interested I'm in as far as in these early prelims, so I wouldn't be rushing over to probably watch it. But if I'm there to watch it, then I will.
I'm always down to watch an Angela Hill fight. She's the train that keeps on rolling. She's always a win one, lose one, win one, lose one. She did go on a 2-fight win streak in 2023, going to 2024, but besides that, it's always been lose one, lose one. She's the decision machine, and she always gets the bad side of things of the ref's decision. So hopefully she'll be able to string a win in this one, and her last one she lost, so she's due for a win if she continues that trend. So, and then the Mershot, he's always pretty fun to watch too. So I will probably try to tune in if I can. I'm gonna be going back home to South Carolina this weekend, so maybe I'll watch it on my phone if I'm out and about. But let's go to the prelims. This is on ESPN News randomly. Bantamweight division, Malcolm Wellmaker, he's come back. We know what he got down with earlier this year versus Cody Haddon in the women's flyweight. We got Aaron Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. Middleweight division, we got Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. And in the middleweight, got Ad Myers' boy Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira. Do these prelims pique your interest, Ad Meyer?
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones on here. Blanchfield and Cortez, that's gonna be awesome. Kopilov's always good to watch fight. Of course, Bo Nickel, got to see where he's at, man. See what's really going on with him. So definitely good prelim to watch.
What about you, Steve?
Definitely, I feel like this is where the card starts picking up and starting to see. Although one or two people I recognize on the early, this is where I recognize at least one person every fight in this prelim. So I'll be interested in Malcolm Wellmaker. Seen him knock out, I think, his last fight.
Mm-hmm.
A prospect coming up, of course, Tracy Cortez, Aaron Branchfield, Roman Kopylov, a good striker against Gregory Rodriguez. So that's going to be a dynamite fight, I think. Of course, Bo Nickel is following.
So
There, of course, everybody. Benil Dariush, Benoit Saint
yeah,
Croix.
yeah, that's
Right. Well, yeah,
that's
my
leaking
bad.
into the main card. But am I buying or selling the Bo Nickel stock right now, as of this moment?
Mm, man, gun to my head, I have to say sell.
Oh wow.
I was a huge buyer before, but I don't know, man. There's a lot that's happened since then that I've. I think he's the perfect example of that high level elite college wrestling doesn't always transfer over to MMA, even though he's only lost one. You know, I don't know. I don't.
What?
That last fight,
Uh huh.
I don't know. It showed a lot, and I think that he didn't do great against Paul Craig, even though it was a unanimous decision. I think that Paul Craig held his own pretty well, and Bo Nickel should have done a lot better with it. So I think you know his Bo Nickel stock went way down there, and then he ended up losing his next fight, and I think he loses this weekend.
Wow. So you got him losing this weekend, even though we're not officially predicting this one. Uh I don't. Who? So Vieira. What's Vieira's record looking like nowadays? So Vieira is 36, so he's no spring chicken. and so they've got him against a grappler. So obviously they're trying to protect him from getting knocked out. He won his last one and lost to Petrosky before that. So you think he's gonna get tapped out then, Admire?
I think it'll be good. He's not going to be, this guy is awesome on the ground, Vieira. So he's not going to be afraid to go to the ground. He'll let, Bo Nickel take him down. It's going to be another test for Nickel. Like, it's going to be like, okay, let's see what you can do from the top, how well you can defend the jiu-jitsu, because this dude is like crazy high-level grappling.
Yeah, over 100 grappling matches. I don't know, man. I think. What do you say, Steve? You buying or selling Bo Nickel stock right now?
I did until he started showing flaws. Like you said, Paul Craig, and not shitting on his skills, but it seems like that's a fighter that you can run through as far as the credentials he was giving himself and the people. And then not only that, he lost his last fight in fashion of, you're such this dominant wrestler. Well, you couldn't even get a takedown even in the clinch, and that's where you need to be in the wrestling department, and he really couldn't dominate at that. So, I mean, how far as his skills go in MMA, which I think his last two fights starting to show his flaws in his style.
Yeah, I mean, he hadn't been doing the MMA thing, putting it all together for that long, so he definitely still has room to grow. I think I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna stay on the Bo Nickel bandwagon. I think they're gonna dial back a little bit. I don't think they're gonna rush him as much now that he lost the RDR. Future champion? I don't know that, but I think he's definitely probably a future title contender. I don't know if he'll actually win it, but I think they put a lot of money into a promotion into this kid, so I think he'll be decent. He'll have a decent career. Like you said, everybody he has to get past this high level grappling this weekend, and then we'll have more conversations about that. So we'll see how things unfold on that front. But fellas, let's get into the main card on this one. Lightweight division, we got Beneil Dariush versus BSD Benoit Saint Denis. What are your thoughts on this one, Admire?
This is probably my favorite fight on the card. Huge Beneil Dariush fan. I've been on that dude's hype train forever. I hate that he got the two setbacks. That was a title contender fight, and he kind of dropped the ball on that, going against Charles Oliveira. Trying to get the odds on this fight because
it's probably pretty close.
yeah, it is close. Wow, dude. Oh, Dariush is an underdog at plus 160. Benoit Saint Denis is a minus 190 favorite. This
repeat those odds again.
Dariush is the underdog at plus 160. Saint Denis is the favorite at minus 190.
That's pretty close.
I think easy money is on Dariush.
You think it's easy money?
Absolutely easy money. Dariush has fought everybody that's up at the top. He's been in there with the who's who. And Benoit Saint Denis, I mean, he lost when he was up there, and he hasn't really fought anybody at the top, has he? I think he's felt like both times that he
fought
got a chance.
Didn't he fight he fought Poirier, didn't he? Poirier, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. He fought Dustin Poirier and lost. He fought Moicano and lost. So they had to drop him back down, and he fought Pripolek and Rufi. And that's his last two wins. So I don't know how they're getting Benoit Saint Denis is the favorite here when he's never beat anybody that's high level. When I can look at Benil Dariush's fucking resume, and his last win was Moicano. Before that, he beat Gamrot, Tony Ferguson, back when Tony Ferguson was still good, Fiera. Like, you know, Benil Dariush was on like a crazy run. Like, he's got the credentials. So, I mean, the odds makers see something that I don't, but my pick is Dariush easy.
You said easy. Okay. So, Admire's got Dariush. What are your thoughts on this one, Steve?
I'm gonna have to go with Dariush. Like Admire said, his credentials. I mean, he's had competition with champions and also beat at least a person that has defeated Saint Denis, which is Moicano, and I don't think Dariush had too much of a. I have to rewatch that fight, but I don't think he had too much of a trouble. Obviously, against Saint Denis, so-called TKO Doctor Stoppage. So, and as we saw, Dariush can handle Moicano. So just based off of that fact, and plus Dariush is a veteran, so my bets would have to be with Dariush. Seems like Saint Denis, when he had to rise above the occasion, like fighting Poirier, as far as like his test, I think that's for real the best competitions he's faced so far.
And this is the odds say it's a pick 'em, so I gotta try to catch up to Admire. So I guess I'll go with BSD in this one. I don't have any super analytical breakdown. Uh, Darius, I feel like Darius was supposed to fight somebody recently, and he got injured or had to back up. Was it the Habib fight or not Habib, but Islam fight? Something happened recently with him.
Dariush's bout with Moicano was rescheduled.
Yeah, it's the Moicano fight. It was the Moicano fight.
Yeah, Dariush was going to fight Moicano before the event.
And then
Sarukian suffered an injury.
Yeah, it was a Sarukian.
Yeah.
And then they had to put Moicano in. They had to put Moicano to fight Islam, and then they pushed it back. They pushed the Moicano fight back, and then he still beat Moicano. I want to say that's what happened. Because Sarukian was supposed to face Islam, and then Moicano was supposed to face Dariush, and they just had to push it back because Moicano stepped in to face. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go with BSD for no reason, just because I gotta catch up with Admire and these picks. But let's go to this next fight, fellas. Welterweight division, your former champion Leon Rocky Edwards versus Carlos Prates of the Fighting Nerds. What are your thoughts on this one, Admire?
Well, the odds on this one have Leon Edwards as the underdog at plus 165, Prates at minus 190.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with Leon Edwards. He really hasn't been too consistent. And so when I think of his past fight as somebody similar to Prates,
So, yeah, you and Steve went out on the stream for a little bit, but so who'd you pick in this one?
Oh, I'm taking Prates, doing the Fighting Nerds.
Okay. And who you got, Steve?
I'll get Prates just because I'm scaling Leon Edwards. Fought somebody similar tall, if not Prates is taller as Nate Diaz. Since how that went, and if Prates doesn't look like he has too much problem getting back to his feet, or if it does go to the ground, I would say the odds are going into Prates getting a TKO or a KO.
So, you don't have no faith in Leon Edwards anymore?
I don't know what it. I don't know what it is, man. I think that Leon Edwards is like one of the most unlikable fighters. Like, I don't know what it is about him, but like, I've never
'Cause he's
seen one
British?
person be like, "That's my dude." Like, nobody's ever been like, "Leon Edwards is my favorite fighter."
You hating on the British?
I don't know, man. It's in like I've rooted for him in a lot of fights. Like,
I've never. I don't know if I've ever rooted for him.
against Strickland, or no, yeah, Colby against Colby.
Yeah,
I did.
maybe that fight. I don't know. It's not that he's unlikable to me. It's just that I don't know. Maybe it's the I don't want to because this British fighter that like he just doesn't seem that interesting to me.
And when he tries to talk shit and act tough, it seems so fake. Like, I mean, I know he's a fighter and I know he's tough, but like he doesn't play the tough guy part well. Like, it's just weird.
I think Edwards has a good chance of winning this fight. And you said Edwards is the favorite, right?
We got
You said it was pretty close.
Edwards is the underdog at plus 165. Prates is minus 195 favorite.
Well, I gotta go with Vegas in this one. I gotta go with Prates. It's gonna be a striker's delight, so to speak. I think it's just gonna be a stand up. I think Edwards will probably try to be more strategic about it, but I think Prates is probably gonna try to go balls to the wall. So hopefully we see fireworks in this one. But moving right along, welterweight division, Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. Admire thoughts.
All right. Well, the odds on this one, we have Sean Brady at a minus 140 favorite and Michael Morales at a plus 120 underdog. So pretty close on this one. Both of these guys got some great wins on their rosters. Sean Brady's recent wins were Leon Edwards by submission, Gilbert Burns by decision, Kelvin Gastelum by submission. And then Michael Morales' recent wins, Gilbert Burns by TKO, Neil Magny TKO, Jake Matthews decision. Man, this is going to be a great fight. I think that Michael Morales has the size. He's 3 inches bigger. Yeah, I'm going to go with Michael Morales on this one. He's undefeated. You know, Sean Brady's only lost one, so I mean he's just as well. But I'm gonna have to go with the bigger fighter on this, Michael Morales.
And what were the odds one more time?
Sean Brady is the favorite, minus 140, and Michael Morales plus 120.
Steve?
I think I'll go with Michael Morales. Took out a veteran Burns. Looks good, striking good. I think I'll give him a chance. Looks like UFC is giving him a chance to get up in those upper ranks too. So I'll go with Morales.
And who's Morales beaten recently, Amar?
Morales has beat Gilbert Burns. What was the other one? There was one other.
From Ecuador. He's from Ecuador.
Michael Morales has beat Gilbert Burns, Neil Magny, and Jake Matthews.
And he's undefeated. Oh, I wanted to go with Sean Brady, but
he beat Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny both by TKO, both in the first round.
yeah, I was gonna go off on a limb and go with Sean Brady, but I'm gonna go with Michael Morales on this one. He's got the momentum. He's young and hungry, so I got Michael Morales in this one. Co-main event: women's flyweight division, we got your champion, two-time champion, Valentina Shevchenko, defending her title against your former now strawweight champion, who's coming up to try to get the belt, Zhang Wei Li. What do you think about this one, Amir?
Well, I mean, we got to start with the odds. So the odds on this one have Shevchenko favorite minus 125, Wei Li plus 105 underdog. So I mean, this is pretty much a pick 'em. Wei Li is such a hard person to ever pick against. I mean, her only two losses, in the UFC against Rose. Shevchenko has some losses.
But her losses were against some animals. I mean, the Grasso one, that's sketchy, man. But her other losses against Nunez, the GOAT. So,
Yeah, man, this is a tough one to pick, man. But I gotta go with my gut on this. I can never bet against Wei Li on this one. So give me Wei Li.
Steve.
I'm gonna have to go with Valentina, just because this maybe correlating the size. She may be a little bit taller. I don't know if Rose is about as tall and big as Valentina, but I know that's if any weakness Wei Li had, it was because of a figure like Rose, tall and stuff. And I think Valentina is more vicious in her striking. So, based off of that, I would say the odds would go into Shevchenko.
Yeah, I'm with Steve. I'm going with the bigger fighter. This one, I'm going with Shevchenko. I think it's going to be a close one, though. I think it's going to be back and forth. I just think, even though it's not right, a lot of the times when it's a decision, it goes to the champion's way. Whaley is going to wear it on her face a little bit more, and that may sway some perception as well. So I'm going with Shevchenko on this one to defend her belt, but this should be a good one. Hopefully, it meets up to expectations. Let's move on to the main event, fellas. Welterweight division, we have your champion, Jack Della Maddalena, defending his belt against another person that's coming up in weight, your former lightweight champion, Islam Makhachev. Thoughts on this one, Admire?
Yeah, Jack Della Maddalena plus 220 underdog against Makhachev
Oof.
minus 270 favorite.
The
I
disrespect
mean,
is ridiculous.
yeah, I mean, no respect there. But I mean, I think the odds makers have it right. It's hard to, go against Makhachev when his one lone loss was kind of a bad stoppage. Other than that, he really hasn't been tested. I think he's, had like one or two decisions, since that weird stoppage, maybe, three. He's been in there with the best of the best. Poirier, Volk, Oliveira. He's been there with everybody and just made it look so easy. I'm not saying Jack Dilla is a bad fighter, but there's no route to victory, man. Like, what can you do to this guy? Like, I don't know what he could do. You're not going to take him down and hold him down. I mean, your best, you're lucky that the fight starts on the feet. Like, your best bet is just to try to just go for the big shot, standing up, just knock him out. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going with Makhachev for sure. It's just, if somebody takes Maddalena, please tell me how you see the route.
Steve, who you got?
But I'll go with Maddalena.
Okay.
Because Although Islam is wrestling is above many, uh, I think people can easily put it under the category of Khabib's skills. And although Islam is very good, I've seen fighters fight him time to time and get back up from the ground to where Islam's wrestling doesn't seem so oppressive or make one mistake and I'm not getting up. And saying that, Madalena fighting, what's his name? His last fight slipped out of my head.
Bilal Muhammad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bilal Muhammad, and having Bilal having a hard time. Now, I'm not saying that Bilal's skill is up to Islam's, but Islam is going up in weight class to see if that strength transfer and seeing previous fights in the lightweight weight class where people fought him and got back up. So I think Maddalena has enough skill to either prevent or get back up because he was doing a good job, dropping his center mass and shoulder to stop Bilal from getting takedowns, and it seemed that worked. So I think Maddalena has a chance, just being maybe a bigger and taller fighter.
Yeah, I mean, he's a champion for a reason. Everybody has a puncher's chance. Amar, you like you said you want to see how people think he'll win. What do you think about Steve's reasoning?
I mean, it's good. I mean, he explained it. He is the bigger fighter. A lot of people have got up from Makhachev's takedowns, and some people have made his wrestling look, a little average. So, I mean, it's all good points. But I don't know. It's one of those things. He's going up in weight, so does it mean that he's more comfortable, not cutting any weight at all? I mean, we'll have to see how everything translates over.
Yeah, I get Steve's point as well. And like I said, he's a champion for a reason. But I just can't go against Islam. I mean, he lost one UFC fight. It was real early on in his career. And that's the only fight that he lost. I know he got finished, but still, I can't go against that. Might be me being ignorant. I can't go against the Dagestani wrestling, and even though he is going up, what we saw with Ilya Tapiria going up, it was no problem for him. I don't think it's going to be a problem for Makhachev. He's been wanting to go up for a while now. I think the wrestling overwhelms Jack Maddalena, and I think we see a new welterweight champion. And if he does get this win, Admire, does he pass Ilya Tapiria as like the pound for pound best fighter in the world?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Taporia is going to hold that for a while. Until somebody really tests Taporia, he doesn't lose that spot.
I don't know. Just a quick thought on this, Steve, because I don't want to jump out got too much. Because if Makhachev does get it done, we'll talk about it more extensively. But can he make his case if he does win this weekend?
Ilya fighting Islam Makhachev.
No, if he like surpasses him as like a pound for pound best on the planet.
I wouldn't say because you would have Ilya called him out to even it sort of puts another as far as legacy behind it. I mean, if you deny Ilya's challenge, then how much of a pound for pound are you?
Well, I think Dana White is kind of trying to block that fight because like he doesn't want if Ilya is able to get the job done, he'll have three divisions jammed up at once. So I think that's the bigger reason is I don't think UFC wants Ilya going up. But like I said, we'll save this conversation if Islam is able to get the job done this weekend. But yeah, we're getting close to the end of the show. A lot of fights this weekend. We'll be back next week to recap it, and hopefully we get some fireworks this weekend because we're getting close to the end of the year. I don't know if Admire has the crown as the pick this year, so we only got this fight and December fight to see who gets the title. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube and follow us on TikTok and Instagram. I'll be posting soon because got a situation going on and trying out these clips. But yeah, that'll do it here for us at Haymaker Combat Sports. Until next time, be safe out there. Later.